House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Like many businesses in this country, the gambling industry has been hit extremely hard by the pandemic, and that's equally true for my home state of New Jersey. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel, with many casinos increasing their capacity limits just in time for summer. We're going to find out what Atlantic City and the gambling business in New Jersey have been through and where they're headed, because I'm going to be talking with the chairman of the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, James Plousis. Chairman Plousis is going to fill us in on what we can expect from Atlantic City and New Jersey's gambling industry in the coming months. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
We are flying over a well-known eastern city that is remarkable, a city whose principal business is the entertainment of millions. Atlantic City, often called the vacation capital of the nation.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you. This has been one of the most challenging times for the gambling industry around the country, and my home state of New Jersey is no exception. But we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, with casinos starting to return to normal. And to give us an update on what's going on in the Garden State, we have the chairman of the Casino Control Commission, James Plousis, joining us. Chairman Plousis, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You know, the gaming industry is so very important to New Jersey, and at the heart of the industry is the Casino Control Commission. For those listening who aren't familiar with the Casino Control Commission, what is its role for the state of New Jersey?
That's a great question, Dave. We're the regulatory body for the gaming industry in New Jersey. We've been in existence for 42 years. I'm proud to say, literally, we are the gold standard for regulatory agencies, not only in this country but around the world. We've assisted many states on setting up their regulatory system, as well as many foreign countries. Recently, we've had Japan in, we've had Aruba in the past. So I'm proud of the legacy that we've had. That we've guaranteed the integrity of gaming, not only for the patrons but also for the industry in general. You know, the employees, the vendors, as well as the owners of the casinos. So we have I'm the 8th chairman of the commission. We've had some real legends in the gaming industry. Steve Persky, who was a state senator who saw the legalization of gambling in New Jersey, and then went on to be the chairman here for 10 years and then ultimately be a Superior Court judge. But he's one of the trailblazers in the industry as well.
You know, as I said, we've been going through some tough times, and as a resident of New Jersey and a gaming attorney, I've been trying to put this pandemic into some kind of historical perspective. I know Atlantic City has had its ups and downs over the years, but has this pandemic been the most critical crisis the Atlantic City casinos and the gaming industry in general in New Jersey have ever faced?
No question about it. This last March, things were humming. I mean, 2 Marches ago, not this past one, the one before, things were really humming in Atlantic City. A lot of activity, we've had some new owners enter the marketplace, and it was getting very hard to hire people. We were hiring a lot of ex-offenders for some peripheral jobs in the industry, and things were just humming. And then, of course, when COVID-19 hit, it was like hitting a brick wall. We really, as you know, the casinos were closed as well as everything else in the city. And that, I think there's no doubt about it, was the most traumatic event that we've seen in the 42 years of gaming in New Jersey.
You know, we look at the terrible, cold, hard numbers and the effect of the pandemic, the revenue figures, the terrible loss of jobs. But do you think it's going to take a couple of years to really fully analyze what effect the pandemic has had on the gaming industry?
I think it will. We track, everything from hotel stays to, different trends, how many people are coming by bus, how many people are coming by car, by plane. So we track a variety of things. Of course, needless to say, all of them, dropped off, 60, 70, 80%, as well as revenue dropped off dramatically. So it's going to take us a little while to gather all that data and crunch it down to see the long-lasting impact of this pandemic.
How did the Casino Control Commission work with the casinos during this period? I mean, certainly safety was a priority for the casinos. There were mask mandates. There were social distancing guidelines. There was cleaning procedures you had to do. How did the Casino Control Commission work with the casinos with regard to these new protocols that they had to adhere to?
Well, we had weekly meetings, myself and Director Reebok from the Division of Gaming Enforcement, and we would speak with the head of the Casino Association, Mr. Steve Callender from Caesars Properties, as well as the local officials in the city, as well as the local health officials. The industry was very proactive. They hired Atlanticare, which is our regional hospital, that come in and collaborate with them on what were best practices. I would visit all the properties on a weekly basis. I've worked throughout this pandemic. So as soon as the properties were reopened at 25% capacity, I would visit them weekly. And I can attest to the cleanliness and the steps they've taken. I mean, they have plexiglass everywhere. Every third slot machine is open. The other two for social distancing are not. They have people cleaning constantly. When you leave the restroom, they have somebody cleaning the sink area. So I'm proud to say I think no industry responded as dramatically and as effectively as the gaming industry.
As I said earlier, New Jersey is starting to reopen. How do you see the reopening progressing? What can we expect to see from the Atlantic City casinos over the next couple of weeks and into the summer?
Well, the governor, we were at 25% capacity, and then in February we went up to 35% capacity. Now, the good news is, as you know, the properties in Atlantic City are all very large buildings.
Yeah.
So 35% of the capacity, in a very large building was not a challenge. The challenge was and still is, the bars and restaurants. There are some restrictions there. And, of course, that adds to the entertainment factor, that you can, enjoy some time in the bars. So the governor's been very cautious on his reopening. I think he's followed the science, and, he's informed the industry constantly on what was going, what steps he was taking. And, there's no question about it. We're heading in the right direction on letting up on more of these restrictions as the science tells the governor as well as the commission. So I think people are ready to come back. I mean, we get calls constantly here at the commission saying, how are the casinos? And I would tell them, firsthand that they're clean. Their air circulation systems are second to none because, as you know, we have smoking in the casinos in Atlantic City, so their air circulation systems are always top of the line, and they've taken them up a notch during this pandemic to make them even more, sanitizing and more filtering of the air. So I think it's going to be a banner summer. I think people really want to get back, and they want to enjoy the summer here in Atlantic City.
Stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
Attention seniors with Medicare. This is an important announcement. Did you know you may qualify for a monthly Social Security rebate? Did you know you may qualify for a $0 monthly premium? That's right. You may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check each month. Just call the Medicare benefits line to get your options. It's a free call. You may also qualify for $0 premiums, dental coverage, vision coverage, hearing coverage, and prescription drug coverage. With this type of plan, you don't need Medicare supplement insurance. Call now because you deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits, including a rebate to your Social Security check each month. Agents are standing by with free information regarding Medicare benefits. It's a free call with no obligation, but it could mean big savings for you. Call the Medicare benefits line now to see if you're eligible for a Social Security rebate.
Call 800-574-6770. 800-574-6770.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the chairman of the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, James Plousis. What have the revenue numbers for the casinos in the state been like over the past couple of months? Have they been progressing in the right direction to show that the industry is becoming healthier and trending back to pre-pandemic levels?
They are. Now, there's no question, when the casinos were closed for months, needless to say, the numbers tanked across the board. We saw, just to give you an idea, in total gaming revenue, we saw a decrease of almost 20%. What helped us was our internet gaming and sportsbook have both been a real, effective way to help us hold off some of the bigger losses in the on the revenue side. But like the casino parking fee was down almost 50%. The luxury tax was down 55%. Sales tax overall in Atlantic City was down 42.4%. So the numbers, are coming back as we speak, but during the months we were closed, it really was a large impact. And as I say, if it wasn't for the internet gaming and the sports book, we would have seen even more dramatic decreases.
One of the things we're seeing right now with regard to the casinos in Atlantic City is a reinvestment into a lot of the properties. I know Caesar stated that they're going to put in $400 million to 3 of their properties, and Hard Rock said they're reinvesting into their property as well. As consumers, what should we take from that? Is there a presumption that Atlantic City is expecting a period of profitability, which I hope is the case?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, the investment we've seen, and as you know, Twin Rivers bought Bally's. They're investing, tens of millions in the Bally's property to bring it back to its, former grandeur. So people are betting on Atlantic City, with their money, these properties. So just as a footnote, we are unique. Our 9 properties, all of them are magnificent structures, very large buildings with a variety of gaming opportunities as well as entertainment and dining that nobody really can replicate anywhere else on the East Coast.
Another great thing we're seeing in Atlantic City is that the casinos are hiring people at incredible numbers. And I know that the Casino Control Commission also sponsored a casino job fair for veterans, which was really great a couple of weeks ago. Tell us about this employment boom, and what do you think we'll see for the coming months? Do you think it'll last throughout the summer and into the fall?
I think there's no doubt in my mind. The industry, we're in constant contact with them. They give us their monthly numbers of employment, full-time, part-time, and seasonal employment. Everybody, as we speak, there's 1,800 jobs available in the 9 properties. So I can see that. I see that continuing. The industry has been very great partners with us. We've been pushing for them to make sure that they hire veterans. They've done that the last 3+ years that I've been the chairman. We've also asked them to make sure that they look at people that were former offenders, that they need a second chance, and they've stepped up in that area as well. So, I mean, they've been good corporate citizens, the industry, trying to rebuild Atlantic City as well as the region, and I see that continuing.
As of right now, for people visiting Atlantic City, what can they expect? What are the capacity requirements for the casino, and when do you expect them to increase?
Well, right now the capacity is 35%. As I said earlier, the buildings are so large, it's never been an issue. I mean, when, like Ocean Resort, that building is a huge, I should know, I do know it, but I can't remember the square footage, but they're monstrous buildings, all the properties, Borgata, Caesars, I can go down the list, Hard Rock is a very large building, so the capacity has not been an issue. I foresee in the probably by next month, the governor will increase the capacity even further. As I say, not that has a lot of bearing. I think once we start getting back big entertainment, I think that'll really be a spark to get Atlantic City, fully back to where we were pre-pandemic.
As you mentioned, over the last year, one of the things that helped New Jersey's gambling industry is online gambling. I mean, during the pandemic, it really seemed to explode. What did it mean for New Jersey to have that gaming revenue from online gaming for the New Jersey gambling industry?
Well, there's no question. It helped the industry, and it also helped. Of course, it helped our tax rate here because internet gambling, we tax it higher than we do brick and mortar. So it's kept the casino revenue fund Solvent. That's a fund that pays for senior citizen prescription and senior citizen transportation and some educational programs. So that fund, has still been very healthy due to the sports book as well as the internet gaming.
One of the great things about this job is I get to speak with gambling officials around the country, and one knew I was from New Jersey and said, it's great that New Jersey had that safety net of online gambling. I mean, do you agree with that notion that online gambling is a safety net for the gambling industry of a state, and do you think that'll cause other states to legalize online gambling?
I think as we saw with brick and mortar, the success of Atlantic City, from the regulatory standpoint that we could keep, the criminal element out of the gaming industry. So we saw neighboring states literally across the country go into gaming. I think brick and mortar, I think we'll see it as well with the internet. But the good part is that New Jersey, I think, we have fine-tuned the internet experience, and I think people will stick with us. And also with the sports book, I think we've shown that the sports book is a first-class operation as it is done out of New Jersey. So I think we'll have some loyal people there as well.
You predicted my next question, and one of the things that's hitting the news nationwide is sports betting. What has sports betting meant to the casinos in Atlantic City and the gambling industry in New Jersey?
Well, as you know, the sports book, the handle is deceiving because there's a lot of money that's transacted, but the casinos aren't winning as much as people would think out of that. I think the positive of sportsbook is that people want to come to Atlantic City, bet on the sports book, and then they hang around the establishment, watch the games. So they're eating and they're drinking and they're doing other activities as well. So I think it's a nice added attraction all the way around. And I think, again, it enhances the Atlantic City experience. There's a lot to do in town, and I think that's just another component.
I talked to a lot of lawyers and politicians who were involved in the fight to get sports betting legal in the state, and they all wanted the state of New Jersey to benefit financially, of course, from sports betting. But they all said something very interesting. They wanted to stop losing money to places like Vegas. In looking at the revenue figures and the popularity of sports betting in New Jersey, do you think they've accomplished their goal?
I think they've delivered. There's no question. The numbers speak for themselves. Yeah. Our handle's bigger than Vegas. And I just see it continuing to grow. The Meadowlands has been very successful. As you know, they do more of a handle than the 9 casinos here in Atlantic City. We do have some we do approve their key licenses up there as well. So the regulatory and the standards are the same for the racetracks as it is for the brick and mortar.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Hey, this is Jay Weishadow from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of May 17th, 2021. Red Rock Resorts announced the sale of the Palms Casino to California's San Manuel Band of Mission Indians for a reported $650 million. San Manuel's purchase makes the tribe the second Native American-run gaming company to enter the Las Vegas market. The Palms Casino has been closed since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. PointsBet launched their first online casino in the United States. The iGaming platform went live in Michigan, making PointsBet the 13th online gaming operator in the state. The sportsbook operator announced plans to launch a second online casino in New Jersey this coming June. And finally, with people starting to travel again, here's a place you may want to check out. The Baha Mar Resort and Casino in the Bahamas announced the upcoming opening of its $200 million water park. The resort reported that its water park will also include an outdoor casino called the Gaming Pavilion. So when you're done trying the resort's 24 water slides, you can kick back and win some money. Sounds like fun. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards.
I'm talking sick piles of money. I'm talking lay on your bed in your Vegas room, throw the money in the air, and dance as it showers down on your money. I'm talking frosted glass limo money. I'm talking big cowboy hat, silver turquoise buckle money. I'm talking gambling.
I am in love with you.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the chairman of the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, James Plousis. You know, before the pandemic, I was in Atlantic City for every major sporting event, and the crowds did seem larger. And now every Atlantic City casino has a sports book. Has sports betting become crucial for the success of a casino from here on in?
I think it's important, but I don't think as you just said, all 9 have sports book. But I think, you could survive without a sports book. But, as I say, I think it's a nice added attraction. It brings in the sports enthusiast. And as I say, it spills over. They're in the bars, they're in the restaurants, and then they end up, a lot of them on the gaming floor as well.
You know, when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s in New Jersey, Atlantic City was literally the only game in town, but times changed. Pennsylvania has casinos, Maryland, Delaware, New York all have casinos, and New York is very close to having mobile sports betting. I spoke with Senator Joseph Adabo a couple of months ago, and he said they were tired of losing money to New Jersey, so we're going full bore with mobile sports betting in New York. With all our bordering states having casinos and sports betting, what are the challenges that New Jersey casinos and the gambling industry face in the coming months and year? How will the gambling industry adapt to all this competition?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you got to add Virginia. The authorities in Virginia have been in contact with us for the last 2 years, again, trying to get best practices, and we've been cooperating with Virginia. So you're absolutely correct. Gaming is just, literally everywhere in the United States, and also it's popping up everywhere around the world. As I said earlier, Japan has been in on 2 different occasions, officials from Japan to get best practice as well. I think the uniqueness of Atlantic City is, of course, the boardwalk and the beach. I mean, second to none, the boardwalk is a worldwide attraction, and also the 9 properties. If you go to other casinos in Pennsylvania, even Delaware or Maryland, you don't have these 9 magnificent buildings all in very close proximity. So if you're losing at one and you want to change your the environment to see if you can win in another one, you can bounce around here. So that, I think that's the advantage we have, and we're well aware we got to make sure that when people come here, they enjoy the experience and they come back and tell their friends.
As we sit here in May, what can we expect in Atlantic City as the summer progresses and more crowds go to the Jersey Shore?
Well, I can guarantee them that all the safety precautions that are out there were instituted here. There's plexiglass everywhere in the facilities. They're cleaning the facility constantly. As I said earlier, the air circulation system have been upgraded. As I say, Governor Murphy has done a great job on the due diligence of making sure that everything that we could put in place is in place, and it is. So when people come here, one, they can feel safe and secure, and also we're open for business. My office is overlooking the boardwalk as we speak. There's literally hundreds of people on the boardwalk. So I think when they come back, they'll have a good experience all the way around, and that Atlantic City is open for business.
Chairman Plousis, we're running out of time, but does the Casino Control Commission have a website where people can go to and check out what's going on in New Jersey with regard to the casinos and the gambling industry?
Yes. If you go to ccc.state.nj.us, we have a variety of things on there telling you about what's going on in Atlantic City as well as the region. That's one thing. When I came in as chairman, I wanted to institute that we started marketing not only Atlantic City but the region, because there's some great things to do in Cape May County, and we want to get visitors to cross-pollinate, come to Cape May County, Ocean County, as well as Atlantic County. So if you go on our website, we have a variety of things there as well as our regulatory standards. If anybody has any questions or concerns about gaming, it's on there as well.
Chairman James Plousis from the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, thanks so much for giving us an update on Atlantic City and the gambling industry in New Jersey. Great things are happening in Atlantic City. I'm glad you came on to tell us all about it. Thanks a lot, Chairman.
Thank you. My pleasure, David. Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from Turnpike Sports with this week's Bet Flash. Bet Flash is brought to you by BorgataCasino.com, now in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Gain access to the most exciting casino games when you join Borgata online. Sign up with promo code FLASH21 at BorgataCasino.com and receive a first deposit bonus up to $1,000 and $20 free when you register. Play the best online casino games at Borgata Online. Several companies announced sports betting media deals recently. Better Collective acquired the Action Network for a reported $240 million. Action Network, which joins Roto-Grinders and Vegas Insider as part of Better Collective's U.S. properties, will continue operations as a separate brand. FanDuel and The Ringer formed a sports betting partnership, with FanDuel becoming the official sports betting partner of The Ringer. Under the terms of the one-year deal, the two parties will work together to create sports betting and fantasy content for The Ringer's website. And finally, DraftKings inked a deal with Dan Le Batard's media company, Meadowlark Media, giving DraftKings the rights to distribute the Dan Le Batard Show via TV, radio, social media, and podcast over the next 3 years. From the seaside to the desert, from the betting lines to the sites online, Turnpike Sports has got you covered. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Turnpike Sports.
You're listening to House of Cards.
The answer is probably. We're finished.
What are the odds? 1 in 100? What?
I don't do odds. I gave very detailed
casinos, sir.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. You know, sports betting has become popular in the U.S., and people want to know what's going on in the sports books across this country. So backed by popular demand, executive producer Doug Weishuttle is back with the book report to tell us what's going on in the sports books across the country. Doug, what do you got?
This week's book report is really more heavy on legislation and deals than it is sports betting numbers in terms of handle and revenue, as well as launches. So before we get into all the deals, all the legislation, let's hit some of the numbers.
Okay.
We got two states going in opposite directions.
Okay.
How about that? Iowa and Oregon. Oregon, they had an April handle of $25.32 million. That's an increase of almost 100% from the month before.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's a huge jump.
In April, what's going on in April in Oregon? I mean, I guess basketball and baseball heats up in Oregon, and I'm trying to, when you do these states, I'm trying to figure out any local things happening there that really boosts their sports betting numbers.
Well, even their numbers, their revenue was up too, $2.73 million. That was only up 5%, nothing compared to almost 100% for handle. But top sports, and this goes to what you had just mentioned. This is by handle. Basketball with $13.6 million, baseball with $4.25 million, soccer $2.61 million.
Okay.
Revenue, basketball led as well.
And of course, it's April, so it's all pro basketball.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Number of bets totaled 760,000. The average wager for the state was $33.31.
I love it when a state puts out that stat. What's the average bet a person makes?
Well,
not a lot of states do that, right?
Well,
just a few of them do.
Since we're dealing with Oregon, this
right.
is one of two states where you have to mention one specific sport.
Oh, is that my favorite
blows my
sport?
mind still.
One of my favorite sports, huh?
Table tennis.
Table tennis. All right. That in Colorado, right? They're big in table tennis.
Yes. Table tennis was sixth in terms of handle this past month, I should say, 729,000, just under 730,000. It was fourth in revenue, $65,600, and had a hold of almost 9%.
Have we checked on Nevada and New Jersey how table tennis is doing in those two states? And Pennsylvania too's up there with one of the top gaming markets. How is table tennis doing in the top echelon of gaming markets?
The one thing, other than some of these other states like Oregon and Colorado, table tennis sometimes falls into that other category. So that's lumped in with a lot of MMA, a lot of...
The one thing I'm thinking of, table tennis... It's kind of the same thing as soccer. Soccer is a much more popular sport, but table tennis usually comes from overseas, and people who want to bet in the morning, maybe they jump on the table tennis action because, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's really not a whole lot of sports to bet on.
So you have your morning coffee and your morning
wager?
wager?
You go. Well, hey, someone's like the action in the early morning.
Well, just so you know, and I just saw this in one of... it's a couple different reports. There is a table tennis league that just did a new media deal overseas.
Wow. Okay.
So you may start seeing some more betting.
All right.
But let's go over to Iowa. This is going the opposite direction than Oregon.
Okay.
They had an April handle of $118 million, the largest single month-to-month drop in terms of money. The handle was 26% lower than March's handle. Now, March also was a record.
Well,
so
March had, the gambling event of the year, and that's March Madness. So, I think once we get closer to football season, I think you're going to see those numbers in Iowa switch direction.
I think all the books are going to go up.
Oh,
when football
yeah,
comes
of course,
around
but,
again. And also, what's I noticed is a big betting event are the NBA playoffs. That's a lot of betting.
Oh, sure.
So that's coming around the bend here.
So yeah, you might see something there.
But it was
and
also
hockey's coming up too. Hockey playoffs and things like that. Nothing like hockey playoffs.
And baseball's just getting started.
Sure.
So you got a long way to go for them. But this was the lowest handle since December of 2020. $104.8 million was that low point in December. Let's see. Revenue of just over $7 million, dropped 42% from March.
Okay.
Again, that was an all-time record there, too, for revenue, $13.5 million.
In March.
Yeah. For revenue. Hold of 6.5%, almost 2 points lower than the previous month, 8.3%.
Okay.
So, again, sportsbooks gave a lot back.
Yeah.
Or you could say the bettors did better.
Yeah.
In April. I don't know what really affected all of this, but again, I think it's a matter of, I think you're right, college basketball, that betting was incredible. As a matter of fact, Play USA Network reported that the national handle for March Madness is going to be about $1.56 billion this year.
You mean the next March Madness coming up?
This March Madness.
This March Madness, okay.
Brought in $1.56 billion.
Okay.
Because if you look at the numbers...
Well, you got to remember, we didn't have March Madness the year before because of the pandemic, so everyone was all pent up and they wanted to bet March Madness, and, it's absolutely incredible, though.
Well, if you look at the numbers for March Madness, Nevada brought in $360 million in handle. That was the lead for all states. New Jersey brought in $275 million. Illinois brought in $176.8 million. They reported that exact number. Mm-hmm. And 7 states brought in over $100 million.
Wow, that was great.
So $1.56 billion. That's actually pretty, pretty significant number there.
That is the betting event of the year.
So far, other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, their entire sports betting market is passing the $1 billion handle mark.
Wow, congratulations, Tennessee.
So they've been averaging about $180 million since November 1st through the end of March. the books had about $900 million in handle on the books. So if they average 180 million, April numbers are going to push it over anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't reported their April numbers. And speaking of Tennessee, in terms of approved events for betting, I should say, that's how they phrase it.
All right.
Now, everyone's got MMA. Tennessee has MMA. Tennessee's the first state that, legalized or approved betting on a local MMA promotion.
Wow, great.
Showcase MMA.
Great. Hey, all right.
They're a local group out of Tennessee. They actually have their own little streaming channel. And the big backer of all this was Tennessee Action 24/7.
Great. Which, by the way, is
back up and running.
Is local.
Up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. I like Tennessee Action 24/7. They're up and running again, and they're local, and they're from Tennessee, and they're run by people from Tennessee, which is great. Stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Now that we're home more than ever, we need to feel safe. Call it a sign of the times or the world we now live in. What do you want to keep safe? The people in your life? What do you want to protect? Your possessions, the things that belong to you, the things that you've worked hard for. Wouldn't it be nice to have tested, trusted 24/7 protection? Peace of mind, real protection that's always there for you and your whole family? Well, now you can with one of our state-of-the-art home security systems. Everyone thinks their home is safe until the unexpected happens. Help protect your home and loved ones today with the affordable next generation in home security. To help keep your family and property safe, call 1-800-520-4068 now. Representatives are standing by to assist you. That's 1-800-250-4068. 1-800-520-4068.
You're listening to House of Cards.
You are more in need of a night in Atlantic City than any man I've ever met. I'd say sit down at a table, go for dinner, see a show, take a walk on the boardwalk and smell the salt air. But if you're anything like me, nothing after sit down at a table is going to happen.
Welcome back to House Cards. Dave Weishottle with you here. We are back with executive producer Doug Weishottle to finish up the book report. Doug, what do we got left?
Going over to the legislative side. Got a couple different things here. I know we're going to talk about Ohio, which threw out their first sports betting bill. Very interesting bill, by the way. Let's talk with New Jersey first. New Jersey had a Tourism, Gaming, and Arts Commission hearing, meeting, whatever you want to call them, in the Assembly, New Jersey Assembly.
Yeah.
They had a bill or resolution to discuss. It was ACR 200, which amends the New Jersey State Constitution to permit wagering through casinos and sports books and horse tracks to allow people to bet on any New Jersey collegiate team.
For people listening out there, New Jersey has a rule that we cannot place a bet on any local college or university in our state if you're in New Jersey. They also have a rule where you cannot place a bet on any activity or a gaming activity or collegiate activity that happens in the state.
Yes.
So,
That's
kind of a crazy rule. I don't know.
It affects a lot of the March Madness betting in New Jersey.
Sure, absolutely. Atlantic City had a NCAA tournament in the convention center, and no one can bet on it in New Jersey because it was a collegiate activity happening in the state of New Jersey. So, you had this basketball tournament happening in Atlantic City with 9 sports books sitting around it, and you couldn't bet on it.
Well, this bill or resolution moved forward on a 7-0 vote. That's how serious the assemblymen are taking this.
Absolutely, it should be gone.
And as soon as this
costs a lot of money,
this is going to move forward. It still has to go through a couple more steps, but if it makes it through the next couple of steps and gets onto the November ballot, there's a possibility that New Jerseyans, New Jersey natives, whatever you want, people in New Jersey, will be able to bet on New Jersey collegiate athletics as well as collegiate tournaments in the state by March Madness again.
So we're not talking about college football. Yeah, it's not going to be ready by college football. You're not going to. If I'm sitting in New Jersey, I'm not placing a bet on Rutgers or Princeton or anything like that.
But again, this is all. March Madness is like the benchmark, like the Super Bowl is.
Yeah. That's one of the benchmarks that every sport book shoots for. It's either the start of the NFL season, the Super Bowl, or March Madness.
That's it. There's 3 benchmarks right there. Yeah. Start of the NFL season, Super Bowl, and March Madness. Going over to Washington State, the only reason I'm mentioning Washington State, we now have the second Native American tribe doing a new compact with the state.
Great.
It still has to go through all the steps in terms of ratification and federal approval and all that. But I thought it was kind of interesting that the compact will allow betting on professional and collegiate sports as well as Olympic Games and esports competitions. That's fine, provided all of that the esports competitions take place on site at authorized tribal casinos.
Okay.
Now, the way that's phrased, I know they meant to say the betting has to occur on the property.
Not the event.
Not the event. Okay, so yeah. I just want to, it was just kind of weird the way that was put out there by the media and a lot of other places, but the betting has to be on the tribal lands, which is normal for tribal compacts.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's get to Ohio. Ohio has introduced SB 176. Now, SB does not stand for sports betting. That's Senate Bill 176. They're proposing 40 3-year licenses for sports betting in the state.
Wow.
You're talking 20 for Type A, which is the casinos, horse tracks, that sort of existing gaming industry structure. And then another 20 for sports bars and other places that want to offer sports betting on a retail side as well.
I got to tell you, Ohio would be such a great sports betting market. It's got 2 really big cities, Cincinnati and Cleveland. It's a lot of sports fans out there. I mean, we were out in Sharon, Pennsylvania, which is very close to Ohio.
It's right on the border.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, it's one of those things where, when there's Sundays in NFL season, it's insane out there. They love their football because, they have the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, and, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it is just great sports fans out there, and I think sports betting will do amazing out there.
At some point, you might as well refer to Sharon as Sharon, Ohio.
Yeah.
The way some of those.
Is it that close?
It's very close. You're only a couple minutes away from Youngstown, which is another big sporting area, especially for college sports.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if you're on Ohio, the bets on Ohio State and things like that? Oh God.
Well, we'll see exactly what happens with this bill. It's another bill that everyone was like, "What?" when it came out, because they weren't expecting this type of bill. Also, one of the other additions to the bill was the Ohio State Lottery will not be running sports betting in the state. They won't be regulating it, but they can apply for a license.
Okay.
So they can apply for a license, and the bill also had electronic bingo in it to pass e-bingo in the state.
I got to tell you, I kind of like the bingo because I think it's 90-ball bingo here in New Jersey.
That's different than regular bingo.
That's different than regular bingo? Well, they call it 90-ball bingo, and I played it a couple times. You can win a lot of money with that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a money winner.
It's one of those things where you buy, I think it's like 3 tickets for like 98 cents or something like that, and you play a game, and the 90 balls come out, and you see if you win. So.
Well, they have a bill now. It's tied in with the sports betting bill, and it's in there doing electronic bingo at veterans or fraternal organizations.
Okay.
So that's going to be kind of interesting to see that. And also, they also have a part of the bill that would study iLottery, online lottery.
Great.
So we'll see exactly where all this goes. This is first steps. More analysis is going to come out after this is aired anyway. So, Genius Sports did a deal with FanHub Media to bring up some more free-to-play games on their sportsbook.
Great.
Sportsbook offerings. It's all customer acquisition. It's, they have 2 new games. Let's see. They're going to be bringing in fantasy sports, trivia, bracket challenges, pick'em, polling games, which would complement their traditional sports betting options that they have across the world, really. That was their first acquisition as a public company. Better Collective, we all saw the news. They acquired Action Network for $240 million.
That's a great acquisition. I love Action Network because I have that on my phone, and it's just to track my bets. They have such a great feature that tracks your bets through the day. It's fantastic. I love Action Network.
Well, we're starting to see
for Better Collective.
We're starting to see a lot of these deals, doing the content/affiliate marketing way.
Yeah,
and it's great to see some of these things happen. I'm just wondering if the affiliate market is getting winnowed down a little bit. You're going to have, new and smaller areas smaller companies are going to have trouble getting the affiliate piece of the pie. I don't know. I
guess we'll see. I mean, there are a lot smarter people than us that are going to be analyzing these deals coming up. So,
FanDuel did a sports betting and fantasy sports partnership with The Ringer. They're going to be creating content with The Ringer for The Ringer's website.
Mm-hmm.
Catena Media acquired Lineups.com, which, by the way, Lineups.com is kind of an interesting site to take a look at. Have you ever looked at it?
I have not. I'll check it out.
It's a very interesting content site where they have articles, just like everybody else, podcasts and everything. But they have some interesting takes on some of the stories out there.
Great.
Let's see. Sport Radar extended the negotiating window for their acquisition agreement so that they can go public.
Okay.
They asked for more time. Let's see. Fox Corporation, this was another interesting one, acquired Outkick.
Okay, good.
Clay Travis's outfit.
So that's what it's called, Outkick. I know Outkick, the coverage.
That's the show.
So it's called Outkick. Okay, all right.
The one thing I thought was interesting, Outkick has an exclusive deal with FanDuel.
Okay.
And this is all happening at the exact time Fox is actually suing FanDuel, or Flutter, I should say, the parent company.
All right.
Over the stock acquisition.
Okay.
They've been in going back and forth in this arbitration. Fox is trying to purchase 18.5% of their FanDuel share. That was an option.
Okay.
And they can't agree on the purchase price.
All right. Okay.
Fox is saying it was at this price, but now that the price is up, Flutter wants to sell it at this price.
I mean, I see Clay Travis on Fox all the time with what is the show? The show with he's
Fox Bet Live.
Fox Bet Live. Okay, that's called Fox Bet Live. Okay, it used to be different.
It used to have some other name.
What was the name of that?
But now it's Fox Bet Live.
It's called Fox Bet Live. Okay.
Yeah. Chalkline Sports, Daniel Kostelski's great group out there. They're free-to-play mavens, really.
Yep.
They did a deal with the site. Let's see.
I see Cricket.com.
Cricket.com.
Right.
I couldn't see it in my notes. I don't know where it was. They did a deal with Cricket.com to do free-to-play sports betting games for the Cricket League.
Okay. For the Cricket League. Oh, okay. the sport we're talking about.
The
cricket.
Sport, cricket.
Okay.
Yes.
I could never bet on that because I just don't understand it.
I don't even know how they time it.
It is going to be huge overseas in England and the UK, but someone said those things can last for like days.
Yeah.
Cricket match can last for days.
Talking about a futures bet. I think every bet's a futures bet on cricket.
When everyone was going out to bars and stuff like that before the pandemic, they had it. I was watching cricket at a sports bar because it was just on. I didn't tell them to turn it on. But, I was watching. I was trying to understand it in a sports bar with the sound off, and I really just couldn't understand what everyone was doing.
And they play with a wooden ball, don't they, or something?
I have no idea.
But this is for the 2021 Indian Premier League season coming up for cricket.
Okay.
Caesars, they just announced a partnership with the Arizona Diamondbacks for sports betting access in Arizona. They're also going to build a first-class sportsbook and bar concept at the team's home, Chase Field.
Soon they're going to just have windows in the stadiums. You go up for
they
a
have
beer,
that in
you
DC.
go for a hot dog, and right next door are the betting windows. Why not just have that?
Well, they have that in D.C. The William Hill Sportsbook in the arena is right there. You go into the arena, they have a set of windows.
They have a set of windows, but I mean like facing.
Oh, you mean?
I mean just like where you go up and get a beer or you go up and get a hot dog. Why not just next door just get the betting windows?
Or just
it's heading toward that.
Or just have the concession stands do combo packages: a beer, hot dog, and, and a sports betting ticket.
Or have people
might as well do that.
Have people walking around taking bets, like they're get your beer here. You can do walk
can do
around.
all that. Yeah, you're going to have somebody with a tablet going around.
Yeah, walking around with a tablet, taking your bets, so
printing out a ticket and giving it back to the person.
Yeah, so you don't have to move.
Yeah,
watch. We're saying this is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh no, that it's definitely going to happen. Let's see. It's going to be a state-of-the-art sportsbook, sports bar, and broadcast studio in an area called the Game 7 Grill on the Plaza, which is in the stadium itself. So, and it's going to be across the street, supposedly, from the FanDuel book at the Phoenix Suns Arena. So it's you're almost starting to see like the Philly complexes being mirrored in other states where the stadiums are all next to each other. Sports books.
Philadelphia is the only city in this country that has all its sports teams, professional sports teams, playing within the city limits. And they're all the stadiums are in one spot. I mean, they all share parking lots. That's why Philly Live, that new casino with the sports book, what a great spot that's in. Boy, you just talk about a...
with some of the rooms overlooking the field, too.
Talk about a great place to tailgate.
Last entry for this week's book report. Sport Radar.
We just did Sports Radar.
This is another one.
Radar.
Sport
I keep
Radar.
saying Sports Radar.
They signed a memorandum of understanding with the General Directorate National Police of Bulgaria.
All right.
Strategic partnership to maintain sports integrity in the country.
Well, good for them. Boy, they're going right to the top.
I think that's the first one that did a deal with a police organization.
I guess.
So
Boy, I've never heard of it. And that's all the time we have this week for House of Cards. See you next week.
Wild country in your